my phone. So it looks fine. It looks good. So tell me, Nannu, you were saying about your colleges. I don't understand the difference when
Okay,
you
let
were.
let me say without you asking any question. I'm gonna give you from the beginning to the end, right? As you graduate from high school in Malta, you take an exam to enter. That was the biggest employer in Malta, the English Navy, which was the naval yard where they built ships, repaired ships, and all the submarines, everything, warships, everything. So if you qualify, when you take the exam to enter, it's held once a year. And there'd be about maybe 3,000, 4,000 kids that sits to get in. But it's very competitive. And maybe out of 4,000 people or more, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, they have to select, let's say, 100, 125. 200. I was lucky enough, the first time I failed. When I applied the first time I failed, I was 15. But at 16, I went right in, I rated number 11. Yeah, I rated 11.
What year?
And
What year is this?
What?
What year? What year is this?
1941
And you were
and 1940.
And
The
1940.
first time I took in 1940, and the second one 1941.
And you
Now,
studied.
as I'm talking to you, one of my teachers in Saint Mary's College in Cospicua, she looks very much like you. It's my cousin, and it's your cousin too. Her name was Iris Vassallo, and she was so happy. She kept looking at me when I was in her class. She was the teacher, and I said, "Why you keep looking at me? Why she keep?" Finally, she says, "Listen, please tell me, do you have any Vassallos in your family?" I says, "Yes, my grandmother said." She says, then do you have an uncle which was her father?" I did not know right away. I says, "I don't know." I says, "I know my Uncle Spiro, Uncle this, and Tessie, and Modesta." She said, "Yo, that's my aunt. That's my aunt." And before you know it, we are one piece. In a matter of 10 minutes, we became one. And she said, "I'm so glad because if I die, I want to die with somebody with the family because of the air raids." When we used to go to the shelter, run together, she holds my hand, and we go together. It was and you look very much like her. She was blonde, very pretty girl. She played the cello. And so, besides all this, okay, let's go back with what I'm saying.
No, but that's great. But this is great. So St. Mary's College is that the Naval College? Is that before the Naval College?
No, not that before the Naval College, because let's go to St. Mary's College.
How old were you?
I failed from St. Mary's College. Then the second year, I went to St. John de la Salle College in Stella Maris. Okay, and from there I graduated. And I got accepted. I was number 11.
Wow, out of 3,000.
I rated very good out of about 3,000 people, you know?
Wow.
And I was number 11. I could have made better. I had better marks on my arithmetic and hydrostatics and than the one that rated number 1, which was English. But what happened was they gave us the dictation, the commander, the examination. He either intentionally or unintentionally, he skipped a paragraph of the dictating. And they give you dictation and you write, whatever, to see if you're good in English, if you're fast enough. But he actually missed or skipped deliberately or otherwise a paragraph. And because of that, we were penalized and they gave us only 10 marks.
What? That's Malta. My God.
They gave us 10 marks.
That's terrible.
This was the English way. It's very competitive. Anyway, to make this story short, then when you enter as an apprentice, you choose the trade, which I chose masonry and architecture. That's my favorite. But then you gotta finish 4 years of college in the naval college. But there's an elimination. If they entered, let's say, as an apprentice, you have a right to go. And every three months they eliminate the people. And from let's say from 200 to just 4.
Wow.
Everybody be eliminated. And I was lucky enough to make 3.5 years. I missed the last 6 months. And I was told I'm gonna fail because I did not want to go to this son of a bee from Zaytun, was a Maltese teacher. If you go to his private lessons, you pay, study under him, he'll pass you. If you don't, not a chance. And he told me. He says, I guess this is your last. He needed me to go to college to pay privately.
He wanted you to bribe him. You either pay him for private lessons or you don't graduate.
Yeah, you go to his lessons and you pay him as a tuition fee.
That's terrible.
But he wanted, but that's how it was then. Forget it. That's just,
and you didn't go, but you didn't go because you didn't like him, or you just didn't have the money to do it.
I never liked them. I never liked them.
Wow.
And I felt it was bad. But anyway, the end of 3.5 years, which is quite an accomplishment, because usually only 4 people, English people, will enter that, because from there they send you to London, and to London you go to school in there, and they come with a degree.
Wait, so there were only 4 graduates and they were English?
Oh, most of them English, yes. I never knew anybody. I only knew one, Sadney, from Vittoriosa. And he was my instructor too, was a designer.
All right. So
but they were, that's how it is. That's how it used to be. They're corrupt, very corrupt. But these were all English commanders, and officers. They were the teachers, all commanders. Anyway, besides all that, then you have 7 years of apprenticeship. You learn the trade. And then after 7 years, you get the full pay as an apprentice, and you qualified as a master mason.
Wait, okay, so you did it for 7 years, from like 16 years old to 28?
Yes.
Is my math wrong? 27? 25? Anyway.
No. From 16 years old to 7 years, 16, 20, 23. So 20, that's exactly right, because when I got married, I was not supposed to get married because your father and mother have to sign for them an indenture that you cannot get married, and they will support you until your education is over.
Oh my God.
We were paid only pocket money. As an apprentice, we were paid only pocket money. And then I got married, believe it or not. I'm going to be 22. I was still 21, minus 2 months, and I beat them. I was supposed to graduate on December 9th, and I graduated on September, and I got married on September 5th with the pay of an apprentice. It was like £3.75, you know what I mean?
Wow.
That's the pay. Yeah.
Wow.
That was enough money to live. You had to charge with the midwife, you pay $2. That's how it used to be in your house.
This is crazy. I never heard these stories.
Like your father,
did you have to get
Maria?
Did you have
your father? Wait, listen.
Okay.
Your Maria and your father were born in that 2 stores. Remember I showed you in front of Agada's Barbara's statue?
Yes.
Today is an electronic store and another butcher store, right?
Yeah.
That's how are today. And Tessie went on the other side before I left from America.
Okay.
They cost me like $3, £3 to have a baby, the midwife and her aide, and by the baptismal the whole week she comes and watches your wife and everything else. That's how it used to be. It's a very primitive life.
Did you have to get permission because you got married before your apprenticeship was over? Did you have to get permission to get married?
If they knew, they would disqualified me.
They didn't know?
No.
You kept it a secret.
I lived on, and don't tell you could tell anybody anyway, but they're not there anymore. But from there on, I became a leading man. When I graduated, they made me because I was so embarrassed, so mad that the instructors that we had, some of them they didn't know how to write, but they knew their business as the trade goes. But we had foremen, they call them foremen, chargemen. They couldn't even write, and they're bossing me around. And I have 7 years of studying in there, so I wrote to the senior foreman. My real foreman, which is a big like a big architect, a big title, like a professor. He was in America, Mr. Hamid. He didn't like me, and I didn't like him.
Oh God!
Because I refused every order that this guy gave me, because he had chargemen in there. They were all illiterates, and you tell me what to do, and I studied 7 years.
Wow.
So I wrote to the without asking my foreman. I wrote to the senior foreman, Mr. Cross. I wrote him a letter, and I said, Mr. Cross, I'm sorry to take your time. I says, but please take this to heart. I says, after 7 years of apprenticeship here, how would you feel like if you were me working under an illiterate that doesn't even know how to raise your name? He tell me, like when I used to set my scaffold to go to raise the building, I don't want anybody to raise it. I wanted to raise the scaffold to work on, because who the hell knows what they do? Maybe it will fall down. So because of that, my foreman got mad at me. So I wrote this letter, and Mr. Cross called me. He called me, and I never told my foreman this. And my foreman called me, and he says, how dare? How dare? I said, how dare what? He says, I have a letter here that you complained to Mr. Cross, the senior foreman of the yard. He said that you're not treated well in here. You're working under an illiterate people. They're all educated in their own trades. I said, yes, I did. I said, did you ever consider me for any promotion? I said, you should be very proud to have people that studied here for 7 years, and you don't give me a chance. You treat me like a regular laborer. I said, yes, I went. I says, I says, yes, I did write it. So he says, he wants to see you. Oh, all right. I said, hallelujah. And I made fun of him.
Oh
And he
God.
was in America, this guy, he's a, real an American bullshit big shot. And I said, and you have to give me time to go. So he says, go with the hell. He says, I said, don't you think you should call him to set an appointment for me? And he did. When I went in there, I said, Mr. Cross, thank you for this and that, all the usual diplomacy. I says, I would appreciate it. I said, but just for the point. I said, because if at least I was governed or educated by somebody educated, I says, yes, you have all the right. I need my time. I said, but these guys are a bunch of illiterates. I says, he said, John, I'm going to give you a job. I'm going to give you a test. He says, I want to see how much you know. And he gave me a test, and a very hard test.
Oh, okay.
He gave me an area where they used to have target practice. The Navy used to go with target practice, where they were all saints. What do you call them? What the hell we call them? I forgot. Holy Jesus. They had the name. The barracks, the saint barracks, they were all ramps like this. And we were supposed to repair them. And he gave me a crew of people of cutthroats.
Oh.
Mellar, from the worst, to work for me.
They were from where?
Because he wanted to try me. He gave me a crew to take with me, like 20 people, that I'm supposed to guide them through this job, to repair the butts. Oh, the butts, that's what, the B-U-T-T-S, butts. That's what they used to take aim, practice machine guns and all that. And and he gave me 20 people, and when Mr. Hammond gave me the cutthroats that he had with him, the worst you could ever have. All right, I said, okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, these are all your crew now. You're gonna go in this area, there was no running water, no bathrooms, no
Oh
nothing.
my God.
Because it was a target practice, the bus. I said, don't worry. I said, I looked at them. I said, okay, I'll take him. He said, you have no choice. I said, don't worry, I'll make it work. I said, I'll make it work. So we got in there. It was the equipment. Water, no drinking water. They used to supply us with a bowls there with water, big bowls there with water. And they would bring it with the truck, they lay it in there. And on the post, that was our drinking water, washing water, everything. So I got all these guys. I said, listen, I know all of you. I know what the hell all of you are, your character. Anybody don't play any tricks on me because you make a big mistake. That's exactly. I said, I am the boss here, not Mr. Hamid. I am. And you say, what I do, you do. I said, who's the best cook here? Who is the best cook? This here comes a little know-how. And one of them, that Mr. Hamid, the guy that Mr. Hamid put with me in the crew, because I know he was a spy. I knew it. He was the best cook. All right? And I said to him, I know you're a cook, and I know you're a good cook. I said, now you want to be a good boy, or you want to be a bad boy? I said, you're hitting the wrong person. He said, John, I'm willing to work for you. I said, so listen, organize the cook, the cooking, make the collection every week from everybody. You buy the food, Your job is cook. All right? Okay. And he accepted, and he was a damn good cook. But we had a problem. This guy, when he cooked, he wants me to be the first one to eat. Because you're supposed to eat the best guy is the top of the pot, get the best. I said, hey, I don't care what the hell I eat as long as I eat. But anyway, we sat in that and he was cooking. And I ordered them because it was sunny and hot, right? I said to the people, we work like this in here. 8 hours a day, right? Fine. I says, we work 2 hours and go swimming.
Wow.
And the other crew from swimming come and work 2 hours. Because it was by the seaside, Look at the everything in there. So we worked fine. Half of it go swimming, half of it go cooking.
Wow.
And he gave me a time to finish. Yeah, he gave me a time to finish in September. He said, by September 5th, I said, that's my anniversary. He said, this has to be done. I said, well, we'll do better. I guarantee you. I was kicking this guy in the ass, excuse me. Yeah? I was real hard. He was the big shot, but because I had Mr. Cross on my side, right?
And Mr. Hammond was the American one that was your immediate supervisor, the illiterate guy.
Yeah, Hamid was the immediate supervisor. He's got the area, let's say, of big area, Kalkara, Renella, all that area. So we were doing things. But when he used to come in there, listen to this now. You want to see how vulgarity? He comes in there, and he comes once a week. Let's have, give me a glass of water. I said, You don't get any water here. What do you mean I don't get any water? I said, no, that water is for us. That stays here all day long.
I mean, that's cruel.
No places to get water.
How do you expect a bunch of laborers working in the Maltese sun, fixing butts or barracks or whatever you guys are doing without water? How is that even?
And you're going to can't drink our water? I said, no. I said, you go over to your office or whatever you go, then you have your water. This water you don't touch, period. And I said, you do that? I said, I call Mr. Cross.
I love you,
He
Nannu.
hated that.
I learned from you.
We finished the job. We finished the job in September. No. He gave me till September 5th.
Yeah.
We finished the job on August 18th.
When did you get the job? When did you start it?
Job.
When did you start it?
Let me see. He gave me 3 months. So go back from September, from August,
June.
Lucius, Junior, March. May. We started March or May, in that April or May, that area. Exactly the date, I don't know. But we finished early.
If you had 3 months,
all my boys, and all these cutthroats that had to work with me, they all was reorganized. They all worked like a glove because they saw the meaning of this. That we are almost punished, that they're being punished with me. But if we work together, everything works fine.
That's great.
They were swimming, they had a good meal every day, cost them pennies a week. You had bicycles to go to work with it because there was no way of reaching. And they really, to them I was God. And you gotta see them when I came to America. They all came in my house there in Zabar, where I got the Barbara statue is.
Yeah.
I had all of them. They were crying, oh geez, because from then on they became my crew wherever I worked, they were my crew.
Wow.
So we worked like a child.
So successful. That's such a great story.
And then I left, and that's it.
You went to America.
But when I went to Malta in 1970, I went back to Malta the first time. I managed to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I'm to meet them again, and they were nice to see me. That's the story.
And wait, these weren't the Italian prisoners. Wait, but these weren't the Italian prisoners you were talking about before, when you were 16 and you were a foreman.
Okay, that's part of the job. Yeah, because the Italian prisoners, they were as free as us. The German prisoners, they were all with the polka dot clothes, and they were always under guard. They couldn't go any place. But the Italian prisoners, which they were like none of us, they were their regular uniforms. They're free. They go wherever. They only had curfew that they have to be home on the barracks at a certain time every day. Enough to tell you, that's crazy, that we had 4 of them played in our band, the Jive Timers.
You had 4 Italian prisoners in your Jive Timers band.
Yeah. And they played trombone, and I bought trombone from them, played the drums, another 1 trumpet, 2 trumpets. Anyway.
Do you remember their names?
My brother Charlie.
Yes, go on.
Huh?
No, I just asked if you remembered their names. Do you remember their names?
Remember who?
The Italian prisoners in your band. Do you remember their names?
Their names?
Yeah.
I remember the one I bought the trombone from, Carlo. One of them was, they used to call my mother Ma.
Did you speak Italian?
You know, they used to come, I tell you what. Listen, wait. Remember when you took the picture where I used to live in Zabar?
Mm-hmm.
Behind the church? When you the picture where my at the beginning of the alley, remember?
Yeah, of course.
You took it.
I took a lot of pictures. You mean the one? Yes, I know exactly. Yeah.
Before you enter, you leaning on the wall like this.
Yes, I know. I have my pink sweater on in that picture. I know.
Okay, that's where my brother Larry lived on top of that place, and we lived in that the door facing the alley.
Yes.
That's where we had the band in there.
Yes.
That's where the prisoners used to play with us.
Wow. And what were you saying about Uncle Charlie?
Uncle Charlie?
Yeah, you said something about Uncle Charlie in the band with the Italian prisoners.
Yeah, he was the band leader. Uncle Charlie was the band leader.
Yeah.
Because before he came to Malta from Italy, he was the band master of the Royal Air Force Band. My brother Charlie.
Wow.
Well, it's an endless story, It's an endless. I keep going forever.
But I wanna go back because you started telling me about the prisoners before I started recording. That's why I started recording. So can you tell us or me again? You said you were 16 years old. You were doing the apprenticeship to be a stonemason, right? You were in the college, and you said that all the apprentices got 7 Italian prisoners, but you had 14 to work under them.
Yes.
So can you talk about that? Like, what did you do? How was it?
Well, I have to explain to you now. How could I explain? First of all, the stone masonry is very, very delicate and complicated trade. First of all, they used to bring us the rocks, which is boulders. They cut them from the, first they gotta cut them from the quarry, the stone quarry. Then they have to give them roughage, in other words, blocks, but not finished blocks, in any shape of blocks. Then they ship them to us. Then you get a pile of blocks, and you take each block and you dress them accordingly with the special tools. You make blocks, neat blocks of them, let's say 1 foot by 3 feet, by 4 feet, by foot and a half, by 8 inches, and they'll be neat. So they'll be dressed, and it takes a lot of know-how to dress and back-breaking work because you lift them and you carry them. So they had the prisoners carrying these blocks and put them on block. You put one block on top of the other to dress it. It's a complicated situation.
So the Italian prisoners were carrying the stones. They were carrying the blocks, the limestone stones, like the ones behind me. You see in my wall.
They got news for you. You see behind you, look, right behind you. Look behind you.
Yeah.
Behind you.
Yeah, I know.
You see that block behind you?
Yes,
you see how neat?
Yes.
Those are the blocks.
Yes, they're everywhere. Malta is one giant limestone rock. It's the Globergina, right? It's the Globergina limestone, right?
There's no tornado. And there's no landslide, no tornadoes. Everything is in one place, hundreds and hundreds of years. Now behind you see how neat they are?
Yes.
That's what we used to make it. However, the Italian prisoners, some of them, they were good stone cutters themselves.
Right.
So there was easy for me. Because you do this, you do this, you do this, and you do this. The other one makes the mortar, cement, makes the cement, carry the cement to the scaffold. It was complicated, but it's a rhythm system. We're going to be together. I need you, you need me, you need her, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was very good. What else? There's a million things to say. Could never stop.
Oh, I'm curious because you were saying the German prisoners, they had polka dotted uniforms.
Yes, because they were allowed to go nowhere by themselves. The Italians will go to church, regular life. They even get paid, the Italians. Let's say maybe 5 shillings a week, but that was enough for cigarette money or something like that. The Germans, no. The Germans had to wear that polka dot. They had to walk in groups, and they had to be constantly supervised with the soldiers next to them to do so. And I got news for you. The best I ever seen from a German president, and they should put that. I hope it's still around. He used to make guns out like rifles out of that rock behind you, that material behind you.
Wait, a German prisoner made guns out of the limestone rock in Malta?
Yeah, but not to fire. No, just figure of a gun. With all the
like a toy.
And it's not a toy. It's a showpiece that you put in a museum.
Okay.
The best I seen, he made the rifle with moving parts of rocks.
But it didn't shoot.
Moving parts.
But it didn't shoot.
No. This was just a showpiece.
Yeah.
Huh.
So did you talk? Go on. Sorry.
What?
Did you talk to the Germans, the prisoners? Did you talk to them?
No, I never encountered them myself. I saw what they were doing.
Okay.
And from them I learned how to make. They used to make ashtrays of this rock in here, that material. Make ashtrays and beautiful things, sculptures are, like many little small things, like you make in ceramics, but you sculpt them by hand. Why you put your head in there all the time? My God.
This is where I'm going to sing or something.
Anyway, I talk too much, right?
No, you don't talk too much. We could do this for hours and hours and hours. I'd never get tired of it. It's great.
I never end. I never shut up.
It's fantastic. I love it, Nannu. I'm happy. I want to catch every word. I wish I could.
Well, I could talk in almost in every subject.
What do you feel like talking about? What's your...
Oh my goodness. The dockyard,
Okay.
the naval yard, I call it here, but the mother was the dockyard because there were 5 docks in there. 2 of them are in Cospiqua, right? They made that with the in front of your old university, remember?
Of course, that corrupt AUM place. But at least it gave me the chance to move to Malta and hang out in the dockyards and in Cospiqua and all that. Yeah.
So anyway, the one in Cospiqua was for the submarines and for the trawlers, the small vessels. And then there was under Sanglea, there's another dock in there. It was for the destroyers. And then you got that's number 3 dock. Then you have number 4 dock, which were the big aircraft carriers and everything. And the saddest thing I've ever seen in there was a ship in there. We got a direct hit. It turned over in the dock, and it rusted because they could not drain it up because they damaged the dock. And after World War II, when they drained the dock, and they see the ship laying there all rusted and all that, and I don't want to go there with my mind.
I'm sorry. I don't understand what happened. I know you don't want to relive the memory, but there was a bomb of an aircraft carrier in the dockyard in Sanglia.
There was a destroyer in number 4 dock, which was a dock for the aircraft carriers. And the name of the destroyer was HMS Kingston.
Wow.
She was hit in their silence by the German ships. And in the meantime, as they bombed her, they damaged the dry dock. So they could not empty it. It was full. And when the water came in, it was empty first. The Kingston was on post, right? They hit it and also damaged the dry dock. That the water came in the dry.
I understand. Were there people? Were there people on the ship? Were there people on the Kingston?
Of course, there were sailors.
And they were just docks, but they were moving out. They were.
But they used to defend the dockyard too, firing the anti-aircraft guns on the ship itself.
They were fighting? Wait, were they fighting?
When the water came in, when the water broke into the dock, it's hard for you to understand. The dry dock is a place where they drain the water, they put the ship in there, they put the ship on post, they dried the water, pump the water out.
Nannu, I understand because you showed me, we did this a lot. We walked by the docks. You showed me how it all worked.
I think I showed you a picture.
No, I was there in the video. I was there in the video. I know how it works. The ships would come in with the water high, then they would drain the water out. You showed me how that worked, and then they would fix the ships or whatever. But my question is, the people were on the Kingston, on the HMS Kingston and dockyard number 4. Were they fighting? They were using the anti-aircraft guns and they were bombed like during the fight, or?
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Of course, yeah. They used the anti-aircraft guns from the ship, not the broadside, but the anti-aircraft to defend against the bombers. But in the meantime, when it sank and turned over, capsized, and when the dock filled up again because it was damaged, it capsized, and the people that they were on the dock and whoever survived, they had the divers in there to get them out, but they could not get inside the ship itself because it was damaged. They didn't know what that. And when after the war, when they repaired the dock and drained the water out, they found skeletons of the sailors inside the ship.
Wow. Now you saw this with your own eyes? Did you see the bombing with your own eyes?
Yeah, of course, I was there. I was in the shelter, but I was in the naval yard. I was an apprentice.
How old were you at this age? You were 16?
No, I was about 17 or something like that, or maybe 17 and a half.
So, like, do you remember what you were doing? Like, were you fixing a ship or something? Were you working stones? Like, what were you doing?
I was not fixing the ship. I was fixing factories, buildings, wherever it was damaged.
No, but I mean
And
at the
then we go to
moment.
the ship.
But I mean at the moment when the bomb hit the boat. Do you remember what you were
I was
doing?
in the shelter. I was in number 54 shelter. That was under the bastion. You know the bastions you have in Malta, the bastions? They're all
Yes.
shelters. They're all dug in.
In
We dug in
Cospiqua?
the bastions.
You were in. Was this in Cospiqua, the number 51 shelter?
Yeah. Sanglia, Cospiqua.
But you
all
could
that
see.
area.
But you could see the ship from the shelter.
No, you couldn't.
So you
said
didn't
we're going
see.
deep.
So you didn't see the bombing happening. You were in the shelter when it happened.
I was in the shelter where it was bombed.
You could hear it though. Could you hear things in the?
Oh yeah, you hear the explosions. They had blast walls in front of the entrance of the shelters. They have blast walls because the blast walls was to break the blast from the bombs.
The glass walls would break the blast from the bombs.
Oh yeah, because listen, instead of have an empty door, it's like an anti-door, like they have in here. You go the first door and the second door.
Yeah.
The buildings, right? Because of the cold weather, they have the glass door inside and the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had there. They have the entrance to the shelter, and in front of the door, in front of the entrance, they built like a square, rectangle glass wall, thick, about maybe 4 feet thick.
Okay.
So it resists the blast from the bomb.
Wow, that's amazing. And so,
And the worst thing
were you with like Uncle Joe or anyone in the shelter during this time? Like, I like focusing on one event because I think it's very interesting. If we focus like during this event when they bombed the ship, like, do you remember, like, was Uncle Joe with you? Do you remember how people were acting, what you guys were feeling?
Uncle Joe, yes, listen. Uncle Joe was also there. Uncle Joe was already a shipwright. It was a boat builder. It was across the, part of the area where the boathouse is. That was a different section. It's like the boats, the torpedo boats, and all. They got so many things that the Italian boats, the E-boats that they sent to Malta to blast the breakwater, and one of them they could not find the right fuel to because they could. It's so let's not go there. It's another phase.
No, I'm just saying, like, when you're in the shelter at that moment, was Uncle Joe with you, next to you?
No, it was a different shelter. Listen to me. Picture this in your mind. Now, Cospiqua, when you look from the bastion, you know what the bastions are, right?
Yes, I lived in Burgu. Of course, I saw them every day.
Okay. When you look from the bastion, from on top of the bastion, you look down, you have the dockyard under you, the naval yard, the dockyard.
Yeah.
The dry docks, factories. You had them all there. So because of those high bastions, they were built on rocks. That was built actually by the Arabs, not the Knights of Malta. The Arabs had their laid out, like St. Angelo. They were the beginning to set those forts.
Fort St. Angelo was started by the Arabic Empire?
Yeah, the positions, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They were the
I don't
first
think I knew
the
that.
Ghazni, St. Angelo, St. Elmo. They were all set up, the first set up was by the Arabs. And then
By the
when
Ottoman
Knights
Empire.
of Malta came over. Then the Knights of Malta came, and the English after them. Then they organized them better,
Yeah.
But those things are so formidable rocks, like a mountain of rocks, square. You dug inside them. They had shelters in there. They had factories built in there.
When you
That's why
say
they could
factories,
never-
you keep saying that there were factories there and you worked in the factories. What were they making?
They're digging like the factories said, like, okay, I'm gonna go another section now. My uncle Xavier, that you don't know, he was in America with Uncle Spiro, but he came to Malta and he was an electrical engineer. His job was under the one of these forts, because it's hard to tell you where it was. Dug in there, they dug a generating station. They dug a big
Wow.
generation.
Oh my God! Nannu, because I'm teaching electricians right now. I have 2 classes and I have an advanced class. They're doing research. And some of my students, they want to research the evolution of electric power in Malta and the origins of electric power. So I have to share this with
Okay.
them. So wait a second. So
I-
Uncle Savior, your Uncle Savior was
I
an
don't hear
electric.
you, Don.
Hold on. Darn it, I put myself on mute.
Okay.
Wait, my notebook did. But wait, what I'm saying, Nannu, is that I'm teaching electricians right now, and some of them want to study the development of power stations and in Malta. So this is great for my students. So tell me, you're saying Uncle Savior was an electric engineer. His job was to dig a substation, an electric power substation?
No, not to dig. His job was to take care of the generators that they had built. They built a big tunnel for them. Huge. I can explain. Look, take this name, Corradino. Write this down. Corradino. Cordine, Belmaldi.
Yes, we have a Neolithic temple in Cordine. I know Cordine. I don't know if it's Cordino, the same thing, but okay.
Cordine, an electric generator. They were in there. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the name of the station? Was the name of the station Cordino?
Cordino, but Belmad in Maltese language, well, Cordine. So C-O-R-D-I-N.
Yes, I know
But
Cordine.
in Italian, it's Corradino.
Yeah, okay. So,
Listen, listen to me, ask about Cordine. All right? And inside that area in Cordine, under Cordine, there is this big station inside. The generating station, if it's still there. As far as I know, I remember with 4 big, huge generators, big, and he used to take care of them.
wow.
Yeah, Uncle Savior.
How did we get on
There,
that? Go.
and another crazy thing, next to that, in another segment of this Cordine, they had a gas storage, gasoline storage. And the people that used to deliver the gas and store it there, some of them went nuts. The fumes of the gas, they went crazy.
This is heartbreaking.
Listen, let's stop here now.
Can I just say something? No, can I just say something? This is heartbreaking for me because I study archaeology in Malta.
Yes.
And I study.
Oh.
No, and I study the temples, the old temples, right? Like Gigantia, Hajar'im, and Cordine.
Yeah.
In Cordine, there's like one major complex of a temple, but like 3 small ones. But there were other complexes of the Neolithic civilization there, and they're gone. And I know, the temples themselves are gone because they were destroyed.
Yeah.
And I know they were destroyed in the 70s or 60s, but I have a very strong feeling that the digging of this electric station in Cordine probably destroyed a lot of our Maltese archaeology. You wouldn't happen to know anything about if they discovered anything there, would you? Probably not. All right, I'm going to hang this up because...
I have to know this. Wait.
I'm going to hang up. I'm going to stop.
No,
I have to stop because...
Wait.
Bye. Ciao.